Oh, okay. This is a fish room tour video. I'll do something a little different for you. Here is something that I have not shown yet, ever. And there's another component to what I'm about to show you. I'll even show you that in this video. I know it's a fish room video, but where's the food? Wait till I show you this. I need more light. Wait till I show you this. If insects freak you out, you know, close your eyes. Hello and welcome to the Jungle Nook. This video is going to be a complete fish room tour, but before I turn the lights off to try to mitigate some of the glare on the tanks, I'm just going to give you a quick look at this room here. I call it the Nook, and just let you look at the houseplants real briefly before I turn the lights off. I'm up to over 20 tanks, not really sure how many. They all pretty much have a natural theme to them. And I couldn't clean the glass inside of the tanks. I wasn't even planning on making this video right now, but I got the house to myself for at least another half hour. So I couldn't clean the glass because I don't even have filters in most of my tanks, and the water would just get real cloudy. But since I stopped doing water changes a while back, my tanks don't even get dirty no more, really. You might be surprised at how clean the glass is on them. I did remove some duckweed and took some lids off just so more light could get into the tanks. But, so there you go. You got a little peek at this. I'm going to go around the house and turn a bunch of lights off. So this right here is a 55-gallon tank. It's my West African theme tank, West African river theme tank. I got some Congo tetras in here. And I'm just using a GoPro. All I have for a camera is a GoPro and a couple of cell phones. I know that the camera don't really do justice, but it's what I got. All my tanks have live plants in them, and I try to get driftwood and stuff. I try to make them look as natural as possible. And I do have videos of pretty much all of these tanks. When I did the aquascape and first set them up. And so yeah, I don't do water changes no more. And when I stopped doing water changes, all of my water parameters stabilized, and the tanks just became really nice and clean. All I have in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but all I have in here is a real little sponge filter. And that's it. And the reason that the water is even as dirty as it is, it ain't dirty. It's that food they're eating. It's just moving around the tank. I will be putting a couple of crebensis in here. Yeah, so if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know, this is just a hobby for me. You're not going to get Latin names, and I don't even remember the names of most of the fish that I have. You know, this is all just for fun. I do look stuff up. I do my research, but yeah, this ain't going to be this channel's not one of those channels where, you know, I get real scientific or anything like that. And all my stuff's pretty low tech. For a while, I did run some DIY CO2, but that was just a pain in the butt for me. The results were good. My plants did really take off, but it just was more work to me than worth. So, but yeah, these are my Congo tetras, and they're going to get some new tank mates pretty soon. So, you're not going to see it, but I do have a tank right here. This was my very first tank. Like a work tank right now. There's a bunch of stuff in there, but it's dark. And you can't even see in there because of all the plants. But over here, I got an African leaf fish. This is a temporary tank for him. Let's see if we can't entice him to come out. So he does unfortunately have a tank mate, I believe. I'm glad he's out so I can get a good look at him to make sure his tank mate hasn't been feeding off of him. And and it ain't actually attached to him. So yeah, this guy actually has a leech in his tank. Sometimes I take my natural aquariums a little too far. I tried to feed him a live leech, which I shouldn't have did. I should have decapitated it before I put it in the tank. So I call this one my swamp tank. I got a beta and a couple of, I believe they're pygmy cories. And I got 2 heaters in here right now because the one couldn't get the temperature warm enough. This guy's got a little bit of ick. So I got the temperature up to about 81 degrees right now. And I'm hoping within a couple of days that takes care of that problem for him. And over here, this is my 75-gallon work tank. All my extra plants and driftwood, or just all my extra stuff goes in here. I do got a bunch of red cherry shrimp in here, as well as some mystery snails and a couple of albino cories. But this is eventually going to be my major display tank. And when we go into the fish room, I'll show you my newest tank in there. And that tank that you're looking at in there, when we go in there, that's kind of what I want to do in here, just on a much larger scale. I'm still experimenting with everything. I want this to be a true natural aquarium. But yeah, this ain't nothing special. It's just a work tank. And if you've been following the channel, you've taken many peeks in there. Now we're going into the fish room. Take a look in here. So this right here was my first, well, this is my second dirtied tank right here. Got some really cool cories in here. I have no idea what kind they are. The fish store that I went and bought them from, he got them from somebody who's been breeding them for a long time at their house. And they're a little bit unique. I really like them a lot. And I was a little hesitant about putting that female beta back there in here with such a large school of, oh, see what I mean? If you've been following the channel, I don't know if I said this or not, but I don't remember the names of all the fish. But these fish right here, I was afraid to put the beta in here. But she seems to hold her own, and they don't gang up on her or nothing. This tank does get overfed though, because they're so fast compared to her that I have to put a lot of food in here just to make sure she gets it. I basically keep feeding the tank until I see her get something. Yeah, this is a dirted tank. You'll notice there's leaf litter in most of my tanks. A bunch of them do not have filters. A lot of the stuff that's in it, a lot of times, a lot of my tanks have locally harvested stuff like the driftwoods and some of the plants even. Right below this was my first dirted tank down here. Right now, this is another work tank, basically for growing out plants. I've been doing a lot of trimming in here. What are these red cherry barbs? Cherry barbs these are? And another beta. I pulled him out of one of the shrimp tanks because this guy, he just went to town on the shrimp. Like even when he was half this size, he was taking out full-grown shrimp on me. So I pulled him out. He's got a lot more swim room. He came out of a 10-gallon tank, so he's got to be a lot happier in here. And I don't got to worry about him getting food. When I put food in this tank, he's the first one to eat. He's the king in this tank for sure. And when I put this tank together, I put way too much topsoil in here. I don't know if it's gonna show, but watch, I'm gonna, yeah, see, I don't know if you can see all the air bubbles coming out. They don't stink or nothing. You know, I did test the water a few times off and on. I don't even really do water tests anymore. My water is always perfect. It's really crazy. Father Fish is just amazing. If you guys don't watch Father Fish and you're into fish keeping, you really should check out Father Fish. So now over here, this was my beta and shrimp rack. It's one of the first racks that I put together here at the Nook. Here I got some red shrimp down in here. That's all that's in here. Oh, this is the tank where that beta I was just showing you as he came out of here. Yeah. This was the tank that I experimented with the DIY CO2. And when I put this in here, this plant here is to get some kind of repens. Wow, this whole tank just was filled with this stuff within just a couple of weeks. So the DIY CO2 really does work. I'm just a lazy fish keeper. I don't want to have any kind of maintenance or nothing. I just stopped using it. The plants grow quick enough, especially in them dirted tanks. The plants grow quite quick. And then moving right over to here, another shrimp tank. I got blues and blacks in here, the shrimp. Look how clear this water is. I have not done a water change to this tank in at least 6 months. Most of the new tanks that I set up, I've never done a water change to. A bunch of them have never had a filter in them. I do a deep substrate, lots of plants, and I understock my tanks as well. Mosquito larvae. I got mosquito larvae in a bunch of my tanks, and I don't even put mosquito larvae in these tanks. There's no fish really, and yeah, they're in all my tanks now. Wow, there's a bunch of them in there. You're not gonna be able to see them with this camera. So this one's pretty much producing true too, except I do get greens occasionally, which I'm happy for, as I'm trying to start a green colony. Yeah, there's another tank right here. Lot of snails. There is a beta in this one back here. This is Oscar. He's back there. And right below that, this is my tank with, well, there is an upside down catfish in here. Oh, and right there he is. So there's black tetras in here, obviously. Down at the bottom, this is just some Java moss. And some kind of repens above that, I believe. And that's a huge piece of Anubis. Now that upside down catfish, here, I'm gonna see if I can't entice him to come out so we can see him. There he is. Oh, and he's already gone. Maybe he'll swim around for a minute. He's back there. There he is. Oh, he went under the Java moss. It's nice to see him once in a while. Sometimes I wonder if he's even in here anymore. Every few months or so, I'll get to see him. He's already gone again. And I got a bunch of mystery snails in here. I'm hoping that they start reproducing for me. I use them for trades, just like the shrimp. Yeah, Ollie, we hear you. Ollie gets jealous when I'm looking in the tanks. Oh, and there's a shrimp. The shrimp in this tank, this is basically a Skittles tank. Just like this one over here. I wanted these guys to spawn for me. They've been in this tank for at least a year and they haven't yet. No. Oh, there's one. Yeah, they're super shy. They're going to be, there's one. Oh, I gotta see, I'm just moving around too much. They're going to be getting moved out to the that African Congo tank here pretty soon. They do actually have really beautiful color. I'm hoping when I move them out there, they'll be a little more free swimming. Be able to see them a little bit more in some of the upcoming videos. Oh yeah, there ain't much going on in this tank. Got a couple caves in there for. Really hope they would have spawned. I'll probably move them out sometime this week. I wonder if I can get her to come out. That's the female right there. She's not as colorful as the male. Yeah, they're just so skittish. This is what I call the beta ecosystem rack. This is an ongoing experiment for me. I'm trying to perfect my natural aquariums over here. And eventually I'll set up that 75-gallon tank. I might even cannibalize a bunch of these smaller tanks and use the driftwood and a lot of the materials in these tanks to set that up. And then I'll have all these small tanks again so that I can rescape them and stuff. I really enjoy the aquascaping part. Like, it's a lot of fun to me. And I like looking at the tanks just like this from the surface, seeing all that duckweed and the lily pads and all the other plants that I have growing out of them and around them. So none of the tanks have a filter on this rack, although when we go to the bottom shelf, one of those tanks does have a air stone, and the one next to it is definitely going to be getting an air stone. This was the first tank that I set up on this rack. It's not the original beta. Unfortunately, he jumped out of the tank. This was the second tank. It's just a 5-gallon tank, but it does have scuds in here. Really large ones too, actually. This tank was the next one that got set up on the rack. When I set my tanks up, I totally set them up so that my fish, I want them to be able to go and hide and be out of sight if they choose to. So unless I'm putting food in these tanks, a lot of times I'm not going to see them. But I do like how active they are. Several of the tanks in this room, in this house, specifically on this rack, a lot of the water came from a pond. In this tank, there's actually sand and mud and some plants that came right out of a pond. And I do got a lot of little critters and stuff in a bunch of my tanks, but I just don't have the proper camera right now. I can't afford a proper camera is my problem. But I did recently get monetized, so that was great. I did some plant videos that really took off. So that was awesome. So I do look at the amount of likes and views and things that I get. So you guys that have been with me for a while and, you know, have been supporting my channel, I appreciate it. But it's really important now for you to hit that like button. I can't make videos of everything that I do. And yeah, you guys really got to hit that like button to show me that you like these videos. I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of videos that I like, and I just don't always hit that like button. But if you want me to keep up on these videos with the fish and stuff and the tanks and everything, you got to hit that like button and leave comments. I'm not just saying that only to help my videos do better or my channel do better, but I really do look at that to see which kind of videos to concentrate on. But regardless, I will not be stopping with the tanks, that's for sure. So here's another tank right here. This is my floating bog tank, and oh, I do want to show you what's in here. Anyway, so this tank crashed. A lot of my tanks will crash when I first put them together, and then you know, they balance out. If you look up here, I mean, if you guys have seen the old video of this, man, this moss was beautiful, but it's just now starting, the moss is starting to grow back, and I got to get in here and trim up. There's a lot of spider mites and stuff in here. I had some actual oh, I see something moving. Wait till you see this. So there was, I gotta get more light in here somehow. There was all sorts of stuff in here, and it's still in here. There's some more dragonfly pupils, whatever, you know, little dragonflies in here that haven't come out yet. Oh, where is this guy? Wait till you see this. I will make sure I get this on this. He's over here somewhere. I just seen a bunch of movement. When this guy moves, man, you'll see him. I gotta catch him and release him into a pond or something. Oh, where is he? I will make sure we get this on this video. Wait till you see this. I'll turn the moss right around. I don't care. I don't normally do this in my tanks. Where is he? He's so big. How can we not be seeing him? He's huge. I wanted to upload this video tonight. Where is he? He probably went right inside of the moss to hide. I gotta get him out of here before he just leaves the tank on his own. I wanted to release him back. Oh, there he is, there he is. Damn, I really gotta catch him pretty quick. Look. Yep. Oh, he's almost a total frog. His tail's almost gone. He needs to come out of this tank and get released back where I got him from. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is the tank that I had a dragonfly come out of. Unfortunately, it didn't make it. I had some wolf spiders in here for a while, too. And what had happened, I believe, because they were in here for a while, I was feeding them and everything. There were 3 of them for quite a long time. And then what happened was is some of this stuff here, some of these plants grew up. Some of these plants here grew out and were touching the other plant here. And I'm not sure, but I think they just left. I spent some time, you know, searching up here, looking for them and stuff, but I think they just got out because they were in there one day, and then like 2 or 3 days later when I was looking in there, they were all gone, all 3 of them. Unless he ate them, I'm not sure. There he is. I really want to get him back out into the wild. So, this is one of my newest tanks, and there really is a lot of life in this tank. I have no clips or nothing to show you, although I might be able to get some stuff to move around. Let me move this. Sometimes if I just, oh, I don't know if you can see it, there's a scud. I know you're not gonna be able to see nothing. But like I said, I wasn't even planning on, I didn't make any preparations to do this, but this is the tank. So looking into this tank should give you guys an idea of what I am going for that 75 gallon, something like this. I'm giving this a few months. I want to see if, you know, the scuds and the Daphnia and the seed shrimp and everything that I've found in here so far, if the numbers can really start to go up. There's a scud. Probably not going to see him. There's a scud. I don't know, there's some worms up there swimming around. And I do have a new fish that needs to get added to a tank. And that tank is just beautiful. It's in the shrimp room. We'll be going in there next. And I said I'd show you all the tanks, so I guess, oh, okay, look at this tank. This was just the leftover seaweed. I just threw it in here. Oh man, this tank is horrible. It smells really bad. I've done a couple of, wouldn't even call them water changes, but I skim that slime off almost every day. I'm gonna put an air stone in here and see if that helps clean it up. But there is a bunch of stuff in this tank too. This I'm just letting sit and see what happens. I don't know. I just threw it in there. Why not? See what happens. See what kind of life I end up finding in there. This ain't nothing special neither, but I was trying to start a colony of green shrimp in here, and I don't even think I have any green shrimp in here no more. They're all, I don't know, like a brown color. Now we're going to go into the shrimp room. how crystal clear that water is. This tank's only been set up for, and I'm not even sure, maybe a week or two, maybe. Didn't have to do any water changes, nothing. I've only cleaned the glass once or twice. Yeah, guys, watch Father Fish. If you're into fish keeping and you're new, or even if you're not new, that channel is just amazing. The amount of information that you can get, and to save you so much money and time and headache. And yeah, it's really something. I better zoom in here right now. I know the lights aren't on, but these guys are gonna take off and hide real quick. So this is my Rasbora tank, and there are over 20 of them in here. And I had thought that I would get them to spawn, but what I did is I put 20 of them in a 10-gallon tank. So even if they're gobbling up their young. I'll be removing some of these eventually and putting them into other tanks, but yeah. So that's what I think the problem is. There's just way too many of them in here. Over here, I call this my shrimp mountain tank. No filter. There is a heater. No filter in this tank. I do have some plants growing out of it. No filter, but look at that algae in there. And there are shrimp in here. Here's one. Oh, let me turn this light off. Oh, here, get a look. This is just another room with some plants and stuff. I am eventually gonna make this room something nice. Be like a mini nook in here eventually. My problem is lighting. I gotta buy lighting. I don't got the money for it right now, but eventually I'll get some decent lighting in here up on the ceiling, and this will be a mini nook. But yeah, I know, this is a fish room tour. This tank, I'd call this my moonscape. I really liked the rocks and everything, how it looked when I first set it up. Still like it, but it was pretty cool when I first set it up. Before all the algae, the rock had a nice color to it. But these shrimp are totally breeding true, you know, to their color. Eventually, I'd like to get a website where maybe I sell shrimp and plants and, you know, stuff like that. So I've been trying to improve the genetics of my shrimp. And this was all an experiment, you know. This tank has a little heater. It's one of those cheap heaters that just raises the temperature a couple degrees. It's back there, but no filters or nothing. And like even this tank, I haven't even I don't even have one of those magnets on this tank. I don't even know when I cleaned this tank last. I mean, I have cleaned it for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's been well over a month since I've even cleaned. Oh, what is that? I thought that was, oh crap. Is that a, yeah, that's a mosquito larva. Pretty sure. But anyway, I haven't even cleaned this glass in at least a month. And I know it ain't crystal clear, but look at that. Like, I don't do no maintenance with my tanks. I set them up and then I just look in them. Okay, now we're going to be coming over to my favorite tank, and I have a baby beta that's going to be going in there. I just got to get the heater in there first to get the temperature up. There is a heater in there, but it's, again, just one of those cheap ones that only raises the temperature a couple degrees. Here we go. I love this tank. I just have a cheap shop light above this tank, so it doesn't do the color justice, but this tank is real green. So much algae, like really like looking into a swamp. And I did look up betas in their natural habitat, and this really looks pretty close to some of the habitats that I seen where they were living. So a baby beta is going in here. I am propagating that was supposed to be blue shrimp, but They're turning out black. I don't know if we're gonna really see them or not. There's a few of them in here. Some of them do still have some blue to them, but these are my best blue shrimp. These are the actual ones that were blue. They changed black. That one's got a little blue on them. This one's pure black, which I don't mind. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I really am excited about this tank. And I just got, you're not gonna be able to see it, but I just got a little baby girl beta in here. And she's gonna go in there, and that will be her permanent home. I just want to see her swimming around in there, living her best life. And she'll be able to feed on those shrimp. But the shrimp really will have plenty of hiding spaces in there. There's leaf litter in there that's completely encrusted with that algae, and really like this. So I guess that was all of my tanks. I know this wasn't like some of the other YouTube channels, their fish room tours, but I've been really busy, and at least you guys got to look into the tanks. Oh, okay, this is a fish room tour video. I'll do something a little different for you. This is just some old style fish food. I don't feel comfortable. Oh, I gotta be quiet. There's a reason I'm breeding these. These are Dubai cockroaches, I believe they're called. Nothing like the cockroaches that, you know, people get in their houses. These things, they're pretty sterile. You know, they don't have, I don't mean they don't reproduce, but they're disease free. They don't carry diseases and pathogens like a lot of other cockroaches do. They don't make any sound. They can't climb any kind of smooth surface. I don't need the lid on here. They can't get out. They do get wings, but they can't fly. They really don't move that fast. They're on a heating pad right now, so they're able to move at their top speed. But they don't like cold weather at all. Even if they were to get out of here on a cold floor, they wouldn't even really barely move. These are a food source for a project that I want to start. Oh, there's more light. These things are just so cool. I only got 2 males in here. And what you're looking at right here is nothing compared to how many are actually in here. So here they are, right here. They're really cool looking. It takes a long time for their colony to get big enough for how big I'm going to need it to be to use them as a food source. And it's going to be for ants. And I will show you what I bought. Actually, my dad bought this for me, but I'm going to show you in a minute. Well, I guess I don't think you were expecting to see these in the video. This is a female. The males get wings. They don't actually fly though. They live in rainforests, I believe in Asia. And they live in trees, basically up at the top of trees. And this is where it all starts out. The queen will be in here for a while until she starts to get a nice little colony set up. And then you got these little boxes here that these slide into, and you can put other ones in for food and water for them. Can even open up the top here and drop food into it, just so they have more space. But there's also these tubes here that you can attach onto here, over to here, which is a much larger nest for them. And this is pretty cool because you put water in this tray here, and the water will come down into here, so they got humidity. And there's a little heating element that slides in to keep it warm and to help create the humidity. And there's spots where the tubes and stuff can go into. And then as it gets large, as the colony gets larger, the tubes can come out and they go back here. This is called an outworld. You have like a little terrarium for them. And as the colony grows larger and larger, if I can do that, eventually I'll drill a hole into like a 55-gallon fish tank or something and have a real big terrarium for them and have me a huge ant colony.